Werewolf the Apocalypse, played on the Xbox Series X. Best console that you can get for the Xbox brand, and we played it on that one. The installation size with the disc, I have no idea how big the file is without the disc, but with the disc you're looking at 11.6 gig, which is not, I'll be honest, is not a lot. It really isn't. There are technically three editions. You've got the physical, which is what I went out and bought. You've got the digital edition, which is $44.99. And you've got the Champions of Gaia edition, which is also digital, and that's $45.99. Sorry, $54.99, so £55. So 45 for the digital, 55 for the Gaia edition, and I got my physical copy at Shop 2 as always for $33.85. The developers, Cyanide, and the publishers, Nacon, are not big names, so not something, you know, not Activision, Capcom, or any of the big guys. This is a lot smaller company by far. So before I go through the whopping massive page of notes, we're going to go through the initial analysis breakdown. We go through the same stages all the time. It's always the same, so you guys know exactly what starts, what middle, and what ending. So the very first thing that I'm going to talk about is the choice of music used, because I am a big fan of soundtracks. I love music within games. To me, a good soundtrack can make or break a game. It's as simple as that. Did they go with a good soundtrack for this game? 100% yes. I couldn't fault it whatsoever. The music got me pumped throughout the whole game. I was vibing. I was enjoying it. I couldn't complain about it whatsoever. It had a very rock metal twist to the game itself. So if you're a fan of like Evanescence, Linkin Park, and stuff, that sort of music, you're probably definitely gonna love the soundtrack that they go with. It's not verbal in any way. It's just a heavy metal rock band type music, and it goes very, very, very well throughout the entire game. So I can't fault that in any way, shape, or form. Audio, effects, and voice acting. One thing I'd like to point out is DC Douglas is voice acting a few characters within this game. If you don't know who he is, he's the voice actor of Albert Wesker in Resident Evil. I am a massive fan of his. So DC Douglas is voice acting in this game, and you can spot him in a heartbeat. Really quickly, you can spot him. You go, yep, that's him. He has such a unique voice, and I absolutely just love it. He does bad guys better than most voice actors, in my opinion. So DC Douglas is voice acting in it. The rest of the voice actors, they all played a fantastic role with the characters that they were all given. I didn't at all feel that the voicing was bad in any way. And to be fair, I can't really point out anything voice acting wise. I would say some of the screenwriting was a bit poor. There was a massive lack of emotion in a lot of the game, and I'm not going to spoil it for you whatsoever, but during the scenes in which you would expect there to be a lot of really raw emotion, it doesn't really live up to that emotion. It doesn't. It falls flat quite a lot, and it does it a few times as well. But that's something we'll talk about going through the rest of the review points. With the effects, the effects in this game are amazing. The gun sound amazing. The electronic effects sound amazing. The transformation effect, the actual sound, the beast roars, or werewolf roars, and the hacking and the slashing, everything is just on point on that point. And I can't knock any points off because I thoroughly enjoyed the audio aspect of pretty much the entire game. We did notice a few audio pops every now and again. I'm I'm sure that's something that they can comb over with just a simple patch. I'm not going to lie. I've heard pops like that in other games, and then they got patched out, and then it was okay. So it wasn't something that ruined the experience, and it wasn't something that was majorly noticeable. But I heard it at least 3 times throughout the game. We can hear the audio go in the background, and it's not an effect. It's just the audio popping. That's pretty much all it is. Graphics, texturing, weather effects. Graphics doesn't necessarily remove points off a review unless it's done to a point where it's broken. Now, it could look like Minecraft art, and I wouldn't care. It could look like 2D pixels. I could not care less. Did I think the graphics within this game looked good for the size of the development team and the actual game itself? 70% yeah, 30% not so yeah. There were, I mean, within the effects, within the blood spraying all over the place, which is, I love that. Within the effects itself, the graphics looked above normal, but nothing wow. Like nothing went, oh, whoa. And yeah, there were some occasions where there was missing textures. There were just black squares, black rectangles, and it just confuses the hell out of me when developers decide, whoever designed the layouts and the air and the maps and stuff like that within the game think, I'm just going to put a big black square right there. No texture in it whatsoever. We see it in a few games. I think the last game that I pointed it out in was Alien Colonial Marines, where you see just black massive rectangles and black squares and stuff where they can't be bothered to fill it with any art. Just slap on a black square and yeah, we're happy with that. There were doorways that were just black. They could have put a cloth in front of it in some way, but they didn't do that. It was just a black fucking square, and it just, what a waste. What a complete and utter waste. I was very disappointed to see that shit in another game. I was really annoyed in Aliens Colonial Marines when I saw it. I didn't expect to ever see that again, and I did. In a 2021 game, black squares and rectangle doors. Just disgusting. Really, really bad. So I'm very disappointed with that, in my opinion. Character model design, very poor. Very, very poor. There are a ton of NPCs running around all wearing the exact same outfits. There are a lot of the NPCs that are pretty much all doing movement-wise and image-wise the exact same thing as a buddy right next to them. They are mirroring their movements perfectly. It's basically just a copy and paste situation. In the main camp area, I think we found around about 8 to 10 people all wearing the exact same red and black jumper with jeans and brown shoes. All scattered around the camp, but they all wore the exact same outfit. Even to the point they all had their sleeves rolled up. They're all the same. I am very, very disappointed. I'm sorry. I'm really disappointed in that. You couldn't. It's 2021 again, and you're telling me you couldn't be bothered to make a vast variety of clothing to make sure that the NPCs don't all look exactly the bloody same. So massively disappointed in that aspect as well. Massively. Glitches and bugs. We had some NPCs going through walls. We had NPCs walking into obstacles and not changing course. I during a really big chain combo, triggered one of my super abilities, and I glitched through the map and fell to my death. So I was on a platform 1 second, falling through the map the next second. So it only happened once. Thank God. It only happened once. But that once is enough because I had to redo that whole fight right from the very beginning again. Am I overly disappointed? No, I'm not overly disappointed. I would honestly say this game had little issues, really. We didn't have any crashes. We didn't get booted off the game and kicked to dashboard like some games do. I would say, yeah, it was just... It was a shame it happened, but it wasn't a major kick in the experience. I'm sure just a simple patch again, a simple update again, just to fix the texturing, just to ensure that players don't fall through the map. That would be nice. That would be nice. Bloody hair in my mouth. Okay. Gameplay and mechanics. I'm going to be honest. The stealth is poorly done. The NPC awareness is god-awful. The fact that you are a 2 meter high, maybe bigger than that, gigantic werewolf with massive claws. You can't dismember any enemy in this game is a massive disability. Not a disability. That's stupid. My brain just went... Disappointment. It's a massive disappointment. It's a 16. It's a PEGI 16. So, I mean, on the back of the case, it warns of violence and bad language for a PEGI 16 game. I don't know what it is in America. It's probably maybe an M for mature, maybe. You'd have to look at game cases, but it's a 16. It's a 16. And there, you turn, like I said, you turn into a massive, enormous werewolf, slicing and dicing your way through hordes of enemies. And you can't rip their limbs off. You can't rip their heads off. It's just blood, and then they disappear after they've died. And that is just a... I'm sorry, but that is probably one of the biggest and most disappointing aspects to this game out of anything else that I have to say. Massive missed opportunity. Should have been a thing. Should have been a thing if I can go into a savage form and rip enemies apart. I want to see limbs flying everywhere like cutlery, you know? And what makes it even worse, what makes it so bad, is the fact there are you do executions in this game. You do executions where it looks like you're ripping the jaws off of enemy werewolves, like you're ripping your hand through an enemy and ripping their heads off. But it never rips off. It does the animation to showcase him biting off an enemy's head, but the head stays on the corpse, and he just lets go of the body, and then it disappears. This alone is one of the biggest impacts on this review that I'm going to talk about. You should have allowed dismemberments within the game. It would have made the game far more enjoyable. And even if you needed to push the game up to an 18 rated, I would have been happy with the game being 18 rated, and you could have ripped people apart. There are so many games out there that you can do stuff like that, and it adds to the enjoyment factor, and you just let me down massively around that. I am disappointed that you can't do that in this game, and it affects the gameplay massively. The stealth mechanics, like I said, are piss poor. Really piss poor. Half the time I stood in front of the enemies, executing them in front of their friends, and their friends couldn't care less. Couldn't care less. It was nice to what they tried. I mean, they tried. You can tell they tried, right? You didn't try hard enough. That's the right word. You couldn't try hard enough. So I am massively disappointed in all of that aspect. And it would have improved my review scoring for this game by a considerable amount. I'm just saying right now, you done fucked up. My opinion, of course. Replayability, game difficulty. We always play the game on normal mode. We always play the game on normal mode because we need to get a feel of the average playthrough to see if it's kind of like okay for the average gamer. It's not too difficult for them, not too easy for them. I didn't find the game difficult on normal mode. I didn't stress out. I died a few times, but the game had a very, very good checkpoint system where it kicked me straight back into the either right next to it or right back into the fight. And yeah, I can't complain about the normal difficulty at all. I had a lot of fun ripping, enemies all over the place. It's just, oh god, I'm gonna try not to bring it up all the time, but again, dismemberment should have been a thing. The replayability. There's no collectibles in the game. There are spirits that you need to absorb. So if you're an achievement hunter, there's one or two achievements where you have to absorb all the spirits. So there's a little bit of replayability there, but you can load up the last chapter and get both the endings if you want to. And once you've got both endings, do I really see myself playing this game ever again? Probably not. Probably not. So is replayability there? Kinda, if you really want all the achievements and if you really want to go around and find absolutely every single spirit to absorb. Yes. If you don't care about any of that, there is no replayability in it. There isn't. You do both endings, you're done. That's it. Lovely. Done. Game customization. If you go to the bonus section on the main menu, you can clearly see that there is the ability to change the fur design and stuff like that of the werewolf, but I couldn't do it with the normal game. I'm guessing that you would have had to buy the Champion of Gaia edition for £55 to get the extra furs, the extra cosmetics, and nah, that's not happening. Not for me anyway, it's not happening. It would have been nice to have collectibles within the game. It would have been nice to have unlockables within the game as well, so we could customize our werewolf and customize our little wolf when we were in stealth mode. I think that's a missed opportunity right there alone. Or if you complete certain quest lines, your reward is like a tribal mark for your werewolf and your wolf form. That would have been really, really, really cool as well. Missed opportunity again, in my opinion. Should have been a part of it, but that's my opinion. Story, if applicable. Was the story amazing? No. Was it good? Yeah. Question mark? Maybe. It was alright. It was alright. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great. It was alright. Again, there was so much emotion missing from this game that it kind of killed a lot of the vibe and a lot of the mood. And if there was more raw emotion in this game, I could promise you 100% I would have enjoyed it a hell of a lot more, because I do love emotion within games. I love seeing how characters develop. I love seeing how enemies develop, and just watching the characters play out their story arc, and if there's like a mother, father, daughter, son relationship within the game itself, and there's loss within the family, or there's, I love seeing emotion. It can make or break a game in a way, and this game is missing a lot of the emotion, like the rawness. Thank you for the follow, by the way. So the story was good, but not over the top amazing. It was good, but not amazing. If you like the the lore of werewolf tribes and stuff like that, you may enjoy it a lot more. I had a viewer come in yesterday's stream talking a lot about it, and it went over my head because I don't know about the laws of werewolves and the backgrounds and tribals and stuff like that. I don't know any of that stuff. It went straight over my head. But they were enjoying themselves, and they seemed to enjoy themselves while watching the 7-8 hour stream that we did the other day. But yeah, the story won't blow you away. It gets slightly predictable, but not, you know, again, I'm not going to spoil it because I don't do spoiler reviews. So it's down to you whether or not you want to invest in it and play the story for yourself. That's completely up to you. Online co-op modes, features, and stability. There's no point talking about that in this review because there is none of that. So skip that, push that along. Goodbye. Have a lovely day. This game is all about the single player story experience, and that's what you're basically getting. Purchase price versus digital price and value of content. Like I said, my copy, hard copy, was $33.85, digital $45, digital special edition is $55. Is there value of content? For me, $33.85. I'd say about 80% yes. 80% yes for $33.85. For £45, no. For £55, which gives you all the special little goodies, no. No. I'm going to say value of content, in my opinion, is not there. It isn't. I did do every single side quest that I could do. I spent as much time within the game to try and find everything and everything. And it, you know, some of it is repetition. Some of it is I'll just run really long distances, go do this, run all the way back, do this, run all the way there, do this. It's just, and there's no fast travel because all the areas that you need to visit are basically outside your base camp. You just have to run in wolf form to get there, or the game will black the screen out and teleport you there because of a cutscene. I'm not going to lie. There was some massively awesome things about this game. I'm not going to lie. And that's something, again, that I'm going to go through because we are going to go through all of the notes written down for the review. Because the next one after that is microtransactions and DLC. And there I checked the store and all I saw was the 2 copies of the game. And that's something I actually do want to talk about because I think it's very, very important. When I installed this game, I went to the Microsoft store and saw that this game cannot be bought on its own as a digital game. And I was like, why is that a thing? And this is Crown. Remember I said you want to hear this. You want to hear this. You might really enjoy this. The standard edition of the game is not the standard edition of the Xbox Series X game. It's just the standard edition of the Xbox One game. So there are 2 editions on the store. The Xbox Series X Standard Edition and the Xbox Series X Limited Edition, which is the Gaia Edition. This is the Xbox One version of the game. I didn't get upscaled in any way. I didn't. So basically on the marketplace, I didn't get the Xbox Series X enhancement version. This is just the basic game. And I'm very, very disappointed with that. Very disappointed with that because I have a Series X, for crying out loud. When this game got installed, it should have detected that I am running a Series X and downloaded the upscale to it. I don't understand why this is even a thing. So there's a mistake, in my opinion, on one end. Either the Xbox One version of this game shouldn't have even existed, and it should have been a Series X game with the enhancements. Or when someone went out and bought the basic version of the game, when they install it, they should have got the update with the Series X and stuff like that for free. Because I mean, unless I'm wrong, unless you guys think, no, hold on, that doesn't make any sense. To me, it does make sense. Because I have a Series X and I wanted to see this game at its best. And because I bought the standard version of the game, I don't get to experience the best of this game now. Unless I re-buy the game on the digital store, that's the Series X version. So either this shouldn't exist, which I would have been fine with. I could have just bought the digital version and then played the Series X version. Or this does exist and you give the player the patch update to make it look like a Series X game. You know? I've technically bought the game. So why are you not upscaling it for me? But that's just my opinion. I got pretty pissed off when I found that out. Because I went to the store and I was like, hold on, why does this game not look like a Series X game? It looks like an Xbox One game. And the store said, oh, the version that you've got is not sold separately. What the fuck is this then? What the fuck is this then if it doesn't exist? This is not sold separately. Yes, it is, because I've got it in my hand. I'm not paying twice just to see the improvements from this to the Xbox X edition. No, not happening. Not happening. So yeah, I thought you'd get a chuckle out of that. So yeah, the disc version does not install the Xbox Series X update. It just installs the Xbox One version of the game. That's it. So enjoy. Oh, the intro that they played. I have to be completely honest. The introduction to this game is mind-blowingly brilliant. The music was brilliant, and the movie effects were absolutely stunning. I got super hyped about it just from that alone. I'm not gonna lie. The trailer was awesome. Control did the same thing. You had to rebuy as Control Ultimate Edition. That's stupid. That's stupid. I'm going to just lay it out there in my opinion. Just my opinion. Regardless of what game we buy physical-wise, if we stick it into a Series X or Series S console, we should just get the free upscale. You might as well just give it to them for free. They've bought the game at the end of the day. Don't screw them over and say, oh, well, you're going to have to rebuy the digital version again just to see the improvements. Don't do that to people. Don't. If this isn't supposed to exist, then don't even release it as a Xbox One version. Release it as the Xbox Series X and S version. Just saying. No dismemberment. I will not talk about that anymore. When grabbing enemies, they go limp. That one made me laugh. That one made me laugh. There was no, by the way, there's no real raw emotion in the enemies. When you transform into a werewolf, you would expect some people to at least scream and cry and be like, oh my god, there's a werewolf. Ah! No, there's none of that crap. None of that crap. And when you grab hold of an enemy, they immediately go flaccid. They're like, even though they're still alive. They're still alive, and they're just just swinging around because you're running around with them. Stupid. If I was grabbed by a werewolf, by the way, I would be kicking and screaming. I'm just saying. Lacking core emotion during certain scenes. I'm not going to say what. NPCs walking right into obstacles and debris. Yes, we've already spoke about that. NPC awareness is terrible. Already spoke about that. The black graphicless doors. We've spoke about that. Oh, there are personal diary entries within this game for certain characters, and they just seem to be scattered around the game. It's just like I just found it weird. It said they said there were stories, and that yet half the time there were memos. Are they stories? Are they memos? Because a memo is not a story, and a story is not a memo. Just want to, Audio popping. I made a note of it. Autosave function is quick, non-intrusive. I agree 100%. I thought the autosave feature was very, very good. Oh, your save file shows your game completion rate. Not a massive, thing to worry about, but I did like that feature because I knew how far into the game I was. Ambient noises in wolf form. Do you know what? You spend a lot of time running around as a wolf, and not once did my character scratch himself. or lick his paws or howl, unless I manually push the howl button. I mean, he panted every now and again, but he never really acted like a wolf. He acted like just like a really obedient dog that has no fleas. I don't know. I'm just nitpicking here, but it's just stuff I write down when I'm into something. The Guardian Spirits looked amazing and very well designed. Can't lie. Both the Guardian Spirits that are within the game, they looked absolutely stunning. I'm not going to lie. One of them is DC Douglas, by the way, so enjoy that. I'm not going to talk about that because that's spoilers. Fantastic soundtrack. We've already talked about that. No unlockables. We've already talked about that. Oh, if you guys want to know who the developers are again, Cyanide. They made a game. Some of you might know this. I can't pronounce this name to save my life, but I'm going to give it a try. Call of Chululala. Lulu la lulu. Call of Chulululu. Lulu. I have no idea. I know I've seen the game many times. Call of Chithu Lahu. That one. That one. Yeah. So the people that made this made that. That. I don't know. God knows how you pronounce that bloody thing. I think it's the most complex word I've ever seen in my life. But yeah. That's pretty much everything that I've written down. Everything. So, all it boils down to now is, would I recommend it to people? What's the review score? Would I recommend this game to people? At its current price, no. If it was in the £20 range, probably yeah. Because, I'll be honest, there are not that many werewolf games out there, you know? And the carnage in this game is fantastic. It's great. The effects are great. The blood is great. It's just, there's no dismemberment in a... Just saying. So, I wouldn't recommend it at its price point right now to people, but I would recommend it at around about a £20 price point and lower. Just so you can play through it, enjoy being a werewolf, because it's not often that you get to be one within games. The carnage is fun, the blood is fun, but that's where it's... And the soundtrack is fun. But the biggest concerns that I have for this game, the biggest concerns, lazy texturing, terrible AI, terrible stealth, no dismemberment, lack of core emotion. 5 massive points right there within the review for a game that got launched in 2021 February. Like, really? Honestly. So, if I was to put a score on it, I've had a score going on in my mind for about 25-30 minutes. I'm not gonna lie. My mind has kind of been like, that is it, that is it, that is it, that is it. That's what you're gonna go with. But this game could have been amazing. This game could have been absolutely fantastic if the development team put the effort into it. I genuinely feel they just got lazy. I'm sorry, I don't mean any disrespect, but you've got to think about what you're doing within games these days. You've got to make sure that you're providing the best content possible. You need to be something that makes you proud of your baby. Oh, because I was on Twitch and I was on Mixer, Attic Gaming 86. Hey. Overall, I'm disappointed in the game. I'm not going to lie. Overall, I was disappointed. If they would have worked on all the 5 key things I pointed out, I genuinely feel this would have been a top tier game. So I am happy scoring this game an average 5 out of 10. I was contemplating going less. The game works. The soundtrack is good. The combat is fun. The blood is great. But poor texturing, bad NPCs, no dismemberment, lack of emotion, laziness. I gave D-Live a go. Maybe like... Actually, I don't think I actually gave it a go. I created an account and I was supporting people, but that was really it. So, yeah. Werewolf the Apocalypse Earthbound, in my opinion, scores an average 5 out of 10. It didn't blow me away, but at the same time, it kept me entertained in a way. And I'm ashamed. I'm not ashamed. I'm disappointed that they didn't push their limits, push the boundaries, and keep going. I'm genuinely confused at why they didn't go with a lot of the things that I've pointed out. But I hope this review helps for anyone on YouTube, for anyone, you know, that's about to go out and buy the game. If you're thinking about grabbing it, I hope this review helps. I've kept it spoiler-free like I always do. And if it saves you money in the long run, then I'm happy I've saved you money. If it's convinced you to get it and give it a go, then try to get it at a cheaper price. But that's just my opinion. I hope you've enjoyed the review video. Leave any comments that you want down below on YouTube, and I will read and respond them. Thank you again for your time, and I'll see you in the next review. Take care.